On a bitterly cold night, weariness settled over me like a sodden blanket, heavy and suffocating after a grueling week of work. My body ached and my mind was fogged with fatigue, yet I forced myself to stay alert. My wife, Sarah, had insisted on inviting a handful of friends over for what she called a casual gathering. Determined not to disappoint her, I vowed to show my face briefly before retreating to the sanctuary of our bedroom. As her friends arrived, the house transformed. The air hummed with lively chatter, voices weaving together with bursts of laughter that filled every corner. Sarah was at the center, radiant and alive. She commanded the room with effortless charm. Her wit razor sharp, her eyes sparkling under the warm glow of the living room lights. I tried to engage, to be part of the energy, but exhaustion tethered me to the sidelines. I became a distant observer in my own home, watching the vibrant scene unfold around me. The drinks flowed generously, loosening tongues and igniting laughter. Sarah's laughter grew louder, more exaggerated, as her friends egged her on, urging her to amplify her stories and theatrics. She seemed to thrive on their admiration, soaking in their approval as though it were oxygen itself. Then, in an instant, the atmosphere shifted. A friend tossed out a sharp, biting joke about marriage. Sarah's laugh burst forth, too loud, too forced, too artificial. Her eyes flicked to me, and in that brief glance, I caught a wild, unfamiliar glint, something I hadn't seen in years. Suddenly, without warning, her hand shot out and struck my face. The sharp slap cracked the hum of conversation like a whip, a stinging, jarring sound that froze the room for a heartbeat. The slap hung heavy in the air, sharper than the laughter that followed. Her friends erupted, some cheering, others whispering about her boldness, while I stood rooted, my cheek burning, my heart sinking into a chasm of shock and disbelief. I scanned the faces around me, searching desperately for concern or compassion, but found only amusement, as if I were nothing more than the punchline of their shared joke. I met Sarah's gaze. Words failed me. She smirked triumphant and said with casual flick of her wrist, "Come on, it's just a bit of fun." But the sting lingered far deeper than the mark on my skin. Muttering an excuse, I slipped away to our bedroom, locking the door behind me. Standing before the mirror, I touched my reddened cheek, wrestling with the painful question, how had it come to this? When had our marriage become a stage for my humiliation? When had the woman I once cherished transformed into someone who degraded me for the fleeting thrill of her friend's approval? Memories flooded back. Months of growing distance, the widening gap between us. The way Sarah had stopped asking about my day, stopped valuing my feelings. The late nights she spent out, the secretive phone calls, the cold, indifferent glances she cast my way. I told myself it was just stress, a rough patch. But now, the truth was unavoidable. She didn't respect me. She didn't love me. She used me as a prop, a means to boost her own ego by tearing me down. That slap was more than a physical wound. It was a shattering symbol of everything broken in our relationship. Sleep eluded me that night. My mind swirled with pain, disbelief, and fury. The slap was a breaking point. The next morning, I faced her directly, sitting across the table and looking into her eyes. "I won't let you make a mockery of me," I said firmly. "Not in front of your friends. Not anywhere." Her response was icy, dismissive. Arms crossed, eyes rolling, she scoffed, "You're making a mountain out of a molehill. It was just a slap. Move on." Her words cracked something deep inside me, confirming the worst of my fears. There would be no apology, no remorse, no effort to fix what was broken. In that moment, I knew I had to protect myself, to reclaim my life from her coldness. I initiated divorce proceedings, sparking a brutal fight. Sarah retaliated fiercely, spinning falsehoods to her friends, painting me as a villain. But I stood firm, refusing to be dragged into her chaos. With the help of a skilled attorney, I ensured the divorce was fair. She received what was just no more. I wouldn't let her walk away unscathed after the way she treated me. Months later, with the papers signed and the divorce finalized, Sarah reached out. She claimed she wanted to talk, to mend what was broken, to recapture what we'd lost. But I had moved on. With steady resolve, I told her, "You crossed the line. There's no going back now. I'm rebuilding my life, stronger, wiser, and with no room for disrespect. That slap, as painful as it was, became my awakening. It rescued me from a future of anguish and forced me to face a reality I had long avoided. It wasn't just a single act of betrayal. It was the moment everything changed. The moment I stopped justifying her behavior and began standing up for myself. Walking away was the hardest decision I've ever made, but it was also the most liberating. I reclaimed my self-respect, my peace, and my future. Now, I stand as proof that even the deepest wounds can forge strength. The pain propelled me to become the person I was always meant to be. As for Sarah, I made sure she regretted her actions, not through spite or revenge, but by living a richer, happier life without her.